I don't either. Do you think that America is trying to be better?
Of course not. No. Not at all.
Yeah, I don't either. I think there's also a massive attack on femininity. Like the idea is that the masculinity is actually what's being attacked, right? Like everything is watered down, everything is softened now. Everything is feminine. I actually think femininity is under control. I think that a big part of the reason why this is happening is because women got too close to power.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I think that men that don't get so are very obvious. And there's a lot of non-getting men out here pretending that it's women's fault that they don't get so. But the reality is they have convinced themselves that because they see so much beauty or they see so many women that they feel they should have access to, whether it's on social media or reality television or movies, whatever it is, we're so overstimulated that they believe they should have access to like the princess because they can see the princess and follow her on social media and send her DMs.
Women believe the same thing though.
Right, but women can do things men can't do.
Like what?
Like fuck a prince.
Okay.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care.
All right, y'all. So Joy Taylor, she is hilarious. But once again, she's a woman that I had to give her this though. She do look good. And she has a toned body, so she actually has more leverage than most women. But she said that women can F a prince. And yes, okay, because of now and how social media is, women now have access to men around the world that before normally women will only have access to men in their neighborhood. So really, it's the women that have the advantage of being delusional because they can just go and message top level men around the world and then still be able to get some type of way that they can contact them. But with men, it's not like that though. So social media has more so helped women being able to to level up more than men. But let's get more into it. And then also too, hold on. Actually, I'm gonna say that for later.
Right. But I'm saying let's just focus on the men that doesn't have it. Okay, let's focus on this guy. Right. And if you're this guy, I'm talking to you for a very specific reason. I feel like there's a great deal of society that's convinced all men, right, that they should have the most beautiful, like non-accessible women on the planet.
But
let me start right there because all men don't feel like they can just have the baddest chick if he works at a Target. So she's talking about all men. Okay, men like beautiful women, but for the most part, most men know that, okay, unless they have certain type of things that women like and value, most men know that they can't have it. So what she's saying, that's not true. Most men know, okay, for you to have, access to these kind of women, you're gonna have to have a lot of game. You got to be very attractive and have resources. Or really, a lot of times now you got to have a little bit of everything, but you got to at least be the guy that's extremely hot to women, and you got to also be, where you can access these women.
They've
from their grandmother's basement.
I know, but they have convinced those men of so many other things too. Remember when you said you wanted to be the trillionaire?
Yeah.
They've convinced those men, a lot of those men, to vote for the interests of those billionaires.
Correct.
In hopes that they will one day be them. So there are so many different things that those, but I
don't think it's a singular thing that has caused them to be incels.
Right.
But what I think is particularly dangerous when it comes to the dynamic between men and women is, and I do think that Sophie has a great deal to do with this.
Yeah.
These men have convinced themselves that they should have women that in any point in the history of time they would never have access to. Like you were always this guy, and you could not walk into the King of the Vikings setup at Kattegat and say, I'm going to marry your daughter. They would take you outside and do the blood eagle for having the audacity to say that you were going to take, love that show.
Yeah.
That you were going to take the princess. You don't get to love the princess.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, don't even look at the princess. You keep your head down and you don't even look at her.
Right.
But now that same guy who's never slain another warrior and doesn't have the Viking ring, just never put blood on his face, doesn't not just think he should go after the princess, thinks the princess should die because the princess won't look at him.
Right. But what I'm saying is I agree with you. What I'm saying,
this simple ass dude thing, so he's trying to agree because once again, this is the other thing, y'all, that is so funny that most guys don't realize. The men that are so agreeable that don't make a woman like you or want to have sex with you. Actually, really, a guy actually has a better chance of getting a woman sexually by being disagreeable and not being afraid to say that he don't agree with what she's saying. Just a thought.
Is so two things. One, social media has exacerbated this, right? For everyone. Social media has exacerbated this from everyone. I talked to an old groupie one.
I mean, to a certain degree, I get what he's saying, but social media has mainly benefited women where women can make more money. The women who are making money from OnlyFans are mainly women, and then they're preying on guys that have no game. They got which still that they it's like these women know that they would pretty much never give these guys the time of day. But this is the problem. The problem is it's like these women know that they would never give those OnlyFans guys a time of day who go and pay them, for their memberships to see them, do stuff on camera. But the problem is right now they're still shaming these men for being incels and paying for that. So I'm saying pick a side, but mainly it's the women who benefit from social media. They capitalize and they make a lot of money off of that because now she can post up a link and do this. So, which I mean, I don't care that they over this, but the women are selling the sex for the most part, and even with Joy Taylor, we all know that. Okay, so she got that job talking sports because it's not because of her skills or even her personality. She got that because she looks good. She has a nice rack, and then she's the kind of woman that most people don't want to talk about. She's the kind of woman that she's sleeping her way to the top, and that's why that whole scandal came out. So she's the woman that most people don't talk about, though. The woman that she's attractive and she's leveraging sex to move up the corporate ladder. That's the woman that most people don't want to admit or talk about, which that's common. That's more common than most people think.
Time, and she was mad at the new groupies, and she was mad at the new groupies. She goes, back in my day, if I wanted to love Jermaine Jackson from the Jackson 5,
you had to work for it.
I had to work for it. I had to put some effort into it, right? Or I had to be lucky. The Jackson 5 had to be coming through town, and even when the Jackson 5 came through town, I had to fight my way up there. I had to wait. I had to do all of that. She's like, it's not like I could just...
And still not get shows.
Right. It's not like I could just DM him and send him 15 pictures and videos and then he would choose me. Like, that's different. That's lazy. So everything has changed, right?
Yeah, so that's a great point. So social media has more so benefited women, like I was saying. So I want to at least give them props for at least being honest about that.
So the way that we compete has changed, but more than anything, the way that we lose has changed.
So now let's get into the next clip.
The trillionaire?
Yeah.
They've convinced those men, a lot of those men, to vote for the interests of those billionaires.
Correct.
In hopes that they will one day be them. So there are so many different things that but if...
One second, we've seen that part already. Hold on.
They lose to a point to where the win has been changed so much that those guys don't have anybody to fuck. Now I'm gonna ask you a question.
But they do.
But they don't think that they do.
That's their fault.
So you see, y'all. So once again, I'm thinking out, y'all. So this is the whole thing, because especially most women do not find most men attractive, but most men find most women attractive. So for the most part, most women, they don't even see these guys, who are incels and the guys that's not hot, or the guys that they don't look good and have things going on. So they don't even see the guys. They don't see the short, fat guys. They don't even see them. You hear all the time women talk about how they want a man who's at least 6 feet, 6'4". When they got my height, 6'5", making 6 figures, everything, But for the most part, it's I think it's only 14% of men who are over 6 feet. So they don't even like most men, period. So they're not even seeing most men. And then, and once again, I think, so for a man to get sex from a woman, he actually has to do some work. For a woman, like I said, it doesn't require a game or no type of skill to be able to get sex. She just, and then the problem is most guys' standards are so low. A woman doesn't even have to do anything. Most men, period, especially in America, they don't require a man to do anything, especially black men for the most part. And so they're just so happy that a woman wants to have sex with them. And despite how the woman is disrespectful, despite how she's overweight or unhealthy, most men still will have sex with them. So a lot of women are confused because they think that just because men will have sex with them, the man like them. And they're sadly mistaken. There's a difference between being wifeable and bangable.
But let me ask you a question about the incels. Do you think the incels, do you care about the loneliness of the incel?
I think that male loneliness is a massive problem.
Okay, so
I think getting male lonelies are deteriorating society. Yes, I think it is a massive problem.
What do you think the fix is?
One, I think we should legalize prostitution.
Okay.
I have been standing.
All right, y'all. Like now, let me say something real quick. I want to say, like this is actually one of the dumbest things possible that I ever heard nobody say. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, and this is what people don't think about though. Okay. If a man is messing with a woman and she's a prostitute, like I said, if you're paying a woman to have sex with you, it's not going to be the same as a woman who desires to have sex with you. So if you're paying a woman to have sex with you, she's going to go through the motions and it's not going to feel the same. And then a lot of times with certain guys, just still, I say you got to have a little bit of standards and morals. He's going to feel weird about having to give a woman money to, just go through the motions. But still, a woman is not going to give you her best if you're paying her to have sex. She's not going to suck it the same or bang you the same versus that guy that she feels true desire for, that guy that turns her on, that guy that she's attracted to. She's not going to give you her best. And then this is also the other thing that people don't want to talk about though, which I know very well, is a lot of these women, like I said, so in order for a woman to give you her best, you're going to have to make her give you your best. Yes, you have to make her. You have to be the kind of guy that you pull the best out of a woman, which a lot of guys don't have that kind of skill because they're so afraid that they see a woman who looks good like Joy Taylor and they're afraid to tell her no, or they're afraid, to speak their mind to her because he's so afraid of jeopardizing his chances of getting sex. So a lot of guys don't have that kind of balls and backbone to be able to see a beautiful woman like Joy Taylor and then shut down her bullshit, which I would.
On this for decades, and I think that prostitution should be legalized.
Okay.
They will never do this, but that I think would be a massive solve.
Massive solve. Okay.
One
okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Ask follow-ups.
No. Follow-up is what? Because that's a temporary loneliness fix, although it's effective. What would be a long-term fix to bringing people back together? What do you think?
Okay. So while it's a temporary fix, right? And many people will have some retorts to this, of course. It's not a simple solve. Mm-hmm. But I believe that straight male biology, and particularly men who have this sort of anger, is because they don't get physical intimacy, mm-hmm. right? But they have convinced themselves the type of physical intimacy they would like is, their favorite porn star or favorite OnlyFans girl, or this unattainable beauty on Instagram who is never, ever, ever, ever going to fuck you or meet you or talk to you ever. Mm-hmm. So they don't look for the physical intimacy that is around them. They don't go outside of their home. They don't go down to the local library. They don't go to their local bar. They don't go join a social group in order to meet people because they feel that this beautiful 10, whatever, is going to walk through their front door and suck their dick. And that's never going to happen. But they sit there scrolling like, hey, in the DMs. And they believe then that the women are not responding to them because of feminism.
Wait a minute. So are you telling me that when the pizza guy shows up to the door?
Yeah, I don't suck his dick, actually.
I mean, but that's not real. That doesn't happen.
No. I know. The setups in porns are insane.
But
and you buffer past.
But I don't.
Do you buffer pass or not?
Well, I buy porn, so I don't. I'm a porn buyer, so I don't. So like it, I get.
So you have to get your money.
I get my shit in the top quality, like because I'm actually supporting. Yeah. Like I get my ish.
You want it clear?
Yeah, I don't want to.
Oh,
Y'all
so
niggas,
weird.
I don't understand how y'all niggas.
Feature films,
Y'all niggas
gross.
want spyware on y'all
Lighting and
computers
stuff?
and all of that
So
stuff like
weird.
that.
It's a lot.
I watch the BTS. I watch the behind the scenes. I want to know.
Watch the interviews.
Yeah.
Interviews are such a waste of time. I hate an interview porn. You're just sitting there and it's like flash, 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 and it's back to her talking.
No.
What's the point?
No. I want to know. Hi, my name is Candace. I'm from Rialto. Well, anyway,
We have derailed.
You never know. Audience, maybe like some guys wants to know the woman breast size, so
The point is, I think intimacy is a big problem. I think men not having sex is a big problem.
But this is my
and the confidence that comes from
audience too. I say this though. I say that the main thing is men not having self-respect for themselves and not having standards. That's the big problem. So paying a woman, paying prostitutes for sex is not going to raise your standards. That's not going to make you value yourself. That's going to just lower the value of yourself, and that's going to have you to stay in the mindset of being a trick and a sucker. And then you're going to have even more problems with women. So yeah, so definitely that's definitely one of the worst advice I ever heard. Just making it legalized for men to pay for prostitutes. Like I said, a prostitute is not going to give you her best. She's going through the motions. Somebody that you're paying for sex is not going to give you her best. Which once again, this is what people don't want to talk about though. So there's still that same guy out there that she desires that he's not giving her nothing. He's not giving her no money. He's still leading her in some kind of way that she finds attractive, and she's putting it down, and she's giving him her best because he has standards.
Not having physical intimacy, not having the ability to have sex turns them into these raging psychopaths that then blame feminism and women running for presidents as the reason why society.
Okay, so about her talking about women running from for president. So Kamala, we don't have a problem with her being a woman. We have a problem with her not being good and not knowing what she's talking about and not being able to answer a question. So that's what we have a problem with. If it was somebody that she actually stands behind something, she's actually good, when it comes out to doing what she say and having a good track record. But once again, she's still on the same level of Kamala too, because once again, Kamala wound up getting put on because she was sleeping with that politician. I think his name was Willie Brown or whatever. When she was in her younger days, he was married to. So she's still like her. She's a woman that slept her way to the top. But once again, that's more common than most people think. And then this is the other thing that people don't want to admit, which I'm gonna say, so this is my show, is for the most part, most people don't like hoes. The only people who like hoes mainly are other hoes and pimps. Yes. And also too, tricks don't like hoes. Guys, for those guys do not, for the most part, like to pay a woman to have sex with them. That pisses them off. They actually hate that. But then knowing that other guys that she's feeling can have sex with her for free, but he has to pay. He just won't admit it to you. And they have like a lot of other resentment though. But like I said, Kamala is just like her too. She slept her way to the top. She wasn't good at anything, and she just leveraged that coochie for opportunity. So she's just like her.
Is deteriorating, and then they go out and vote as such in favor of trillionaires who wouldn't give a fuck if they had their last breath halfway through this podcast.
You are not wrong in terms of how the lack of access to affection, how it feels, it's isolating and all that. I get it. This is my fix.
So and then like the only thing that I can say, which they actually haven't covered, and this is also the danger. Actually, this is the danger of women messing with tricks and simps and guys who are just so so into a woman being so fine and beautiful. So those same guys, those are the guys who are doing things to women. They can't take it when a woman don't want them no more. They're killing the women. They're fighting her when she tell them no. So it's actually dangerous when a woman is messing with a man like that he actually can't deal with her not wanting him, and he just so all in lust for her. And then so those are the guys that they're extremely dangerous versus the guy that has standards and he gets women and he don't care. He'll move on to the next woman. But a man that he can't take nobody that's having you but him, that guy will off you. And that happens a lot. That happens more than people think.
To it. It's very simple. My fix to it is for us to think about how we are reorienting society. Like, for example, all of the kids that I work with and all of that stuff, they're always talking about how hard it is to date, but they're also talking about all the places that they don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be in their cribs.
Right.
They want to be in their houses. They want to do all their work on Zoom. They don't, can this have been done in an email? No, you need to talk to people, because the more conversations you have with people and the more that you're around people, the more the walls between you and them fall down.
Couldn't agree more.
And you're able to build common interests and attractions with people.
With human beings. Don't you think that's why?
And actually, yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. So I agree with what he's saying. And also the other thing which would be beneficial if a person was to do that, though, is if you would get better at knowing when a woman is interested in what you have to say and when she's not interested. So the average guy, most guys period are chasing a woman that has zero interest in them, or women have low interest in them. And a guy that has the real game and has the high standards, like myself, he's only going after women who have high interest in him. So he knows how to read that. Versus most guys, you're taught if you just keep working harder, So once again, if a woman is not willing to cooperate, she don't like you. A woman, if she likes you, she will cooperate. She will, want to, put in some effort.
You have great conversations in strip clubs. Look at the princess. You keep your head down and you keep up. Okay, let's focus on this under control. I think that a big part of the reason why this is happening is because women got too close to power.
Okay, how so?
I've been seeing it already though. But yeah, so y'all. So once again, check this off. So she also mentioned the strip club. And I'm not a big fan of going to strip clubs because when you're in a strip club, a woman either sees you as either a pimp or a simp, which I mean, even in still in the real world, it's similar enough too. Like a woman either sees you as either a man or a B, or we'll keep it nice. We'll just say a lame or a simp. So it's also the same way too, because when you're going to strip clubs and then it's programming you to go, okay, just to go and talk to a woman, you have to give her some money. So it's really also destroying your confidence. So unless you're in there and then you're like recruiting for your stable of women, or you're running some type of business like that, for the most part, I do not advise men to be going to strip clubs, because then too, since she did mention strip clubs, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna leave this alone. Strippers fall into 3 categories: either weed heads, attention whores, or drunks. So those are the categories that they fall into. Sometimes all 3. And strippers are a master of bullshitting men, because really that's part of their job, is to act like they actually like you. So that's part of their job. And then also the other thing is that most strippers, period, are having sex with clients. So they're pulling men out and then they're having regulars, as they call it. So I do not advise for men, especially if you're trying to build up your confidence, it's not good for you to be thinking that, okay, by going to strip clubs. And so once again, it's getting you to be in the trick mindset of, okay, I had to pay a woman just to talk to her, or I could just pay a woman to like me. So that's not going to fix the problem. So men need to work on valuing themselves, having a certain amount of self-respect, and it's just being willing to put the work in and being better at understanding the signs when a woman is interested when she's not interested. So yeah, so another perfect example of just like how a man taking a woman on a date doesn't mean a woman like you. Women will go on all these dates and all that stuff and taking them on cruises, but she has no interest in you at all. So that doesn't make a woman like you. So yeah, like I said, so the equal thing is, like I said, if a man has sex with a woman, that doesn't mean that he likes you. Most men, especially most black men, they will have sex with anybody. So I had to go on and get into everything because I wanted to say, give you a better understanding. So, but yeah, like I said, so Joy Bryant. So Joy Taylor. Like I said, she looks good, but then still, she's the kind of woman that, yeah, okay, so she actually passed the fitness test, so I give her that, and then, so, but yeah, but she doesn't have like a bomb personality, but she got opportunities because she looks good, and she's leveraging that coochie, so yeah, so she's doing that though, and then most of those guys, she would give them a chance of the day anyway. But ladies, but definitely can learn by getting your looking older. Women who are more fitter and look better, they make more money, they have more opportunities, and that's what men value first, is how good a woman look. So ladies, if you're trying to finally be able to get better opportunities, have more men respect you, this is my book that I made for women, the Anti-Inflammatory Fitness Bible for Women. It's going to help you with your mindset, help you be able to build up your body, build up your glutes, get rid of that hormonal weight. So I definitely suggest you go and get that. So you can go and click the link on the screen. You can click that and you can order my book. It's also on Amazon too. So I love you all, and I see you all next time. And remember, God wants you healthy and fit, and the devil wants you to procrastinate, put it off, make excuses, talk about how busy you are and how much you got going on. The devil wants you to be fat and lazy. Don't let the devil win. I'll see you all next time.